Welcome everybody to episode 1 of the Mat Mechanics. I am Charlie, one of your co-hosts, also known as the Wrestling Dad 149, and next to me, my co-host, NCAA champion, world champion MMA fighter, the Minister of Combat, Bubba the Bad Man Jenkins.
Calm down. That's all good. Calm down. What's up, Charlie C? What's up, baby? What's up out there, fans, wrestling fans, combat fans? What's going on? You heard it. Minister of Combat right here, Bubba Jenkins. We in the Batman cave, and I'm excited, man. Episode 1, Mat Mechanics, baby. We in here. Shout out to this soon-to-be Mat Mechanic fans. While I'm in the Batman cave, this is normally where you're going to see me. Charlie C on the 1s and 2s. He's gonna be like the Kobe. I'm gonna be like the Shaq. I'm in the paint with it. Me and my man gonna be working back and forth, going with it. Charlie C, what's up with you, baby?
Man, everything's great. I'm so excited to be doing this first episode. I've been looking forward to it all day, making sure we got everything ready to go, and we are ready to go. Wrestling season's right around the corner. RAF 2's right around the corner. We got Super 32 this weekend. Just had Who's Number 1. So, man, everything in my life's fantastic. How about you? How's things going?
Everything sounds good, man. Everything's looking good as well. Like you said, I'm about to go back to Penn State. You know, it's rocky. It's an acquired taste as a welcoming as I remember. So no, man, I'm about to go back to the Bryce Jordan Center. It's going to be an exciting event with RAF2, as some people may know, or maybe people don't know. I'm on your 1s and 2s. I'm the play-by-play guy, and that's why they call me the Minister of Combat. I'll be on that for night, joined by Julia Pena and some other people that's going to be out there. But, man, let's talk about what we just kind of prepared ourselves for and what we have as a special guest for episode 1, because, you know, your boy done his homework, but I've already lived this life. I've already done this thing. So if you want to give the world and our audience, the Mat Mechanic fans, an introduction of what we got, let's hit them with it.
All right. Let's bring in our guest. Coach Jake Harman, welcome to the first episode of the Mat Mechanics. Thanks for being here.
Man, my pleasure to be here. Always good to see Bubba Jenkins get some of his energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
No doubt. What's up, Jake? How you doing, my man? How you feeling? I see you out there in the sun. I see you must be working. Y'all must be chopping. I see the tan looking good.
Hey, man, you know how we do it. We're out there with the rocks and water bottles. We're doing sprints on the top of the parking structure, lines and all that. And then we're getting in there and grinding with the weights and the whole deal. You know what it is.
Y'all about to go on the lines then. So I know what it's like to welcome people in, and I know what it's like to, to step up in there as a foe sometimes. So I know you preparing like the mechanic that you are, my man. Let's get a word of introduction. Maybe I'll let my man Charlie C introduce you a little bit, and then we go into maybe who you are and what you've been through, a couple of paths that may have crossed along the way with me, myself, and I. Yes, and then we'll talk about some of the legends you know.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jake. So obviously we have you on because you're coaching the great NATO, Nathan Tomasello, coming up at RAF2 on October 25th. He's going up against Roman Bravo Young. So we just wanted to get you in, hear from you about your story and how things are going with NATO. So if you don't mind, we'll jump into the first question.
Yeah, well, I got this little wrestling club in Huntington Beach, California called Team Thunder Wrestling. And, we're a nationally renowned program. We've produced a lot of high-level champions. I've had the pleasure of being in the corner of some really great wrestlers. And then that turned into being in the corner for some amazing grapplers and fighters. And so Bubba came along somewhere in that period when he was transitioning from wrestling to getting into MMA. And, we were coaching on different programs, wrestling coaching on different programs, but we'd see each other at tournaments. And obviously I've had a ton of respect for Bubba Jenkins for a long time. And then you kind of see him going by and like, oh man, that's Bubba Jenkins, and then we started talking at some tournament, and I was like, yo, I got to get you over for a clinic. And then I think he did a clinic for us, and then we started chopping it up, and I realized, we had some common interests. And I was like, well, come and train with these guys and see if you like it. And so he started coming down and training on our famous Tuesday, Thursday practices over at a Church Boys Wrestling.
The grind, baby. That's where the hard is harder.
It was
a
like
hard knock life in that bug.
Yeah, it was an invite-only practice. We had
Sure.
Rafael dos Anjos, Shogun Hua, Vanderlei Silva,
Whoa.
Rob Emerson, and then, right on the other side of the mats, we'd have Marcus Almeida Buchecha, Joel Assis, Felipe Pena, Hamalo Bahal, just monsters of jiu-jitsu, literal legends of the sport. And Bubba was in there getting his feet wet, getting baptized.
Speaking to that, my man, I want to ask you a question about like those days, because those days where that toughness was not optional. You was either gonna get choked out, knocked out, depending on what we was doing or what area of the day. If you didn't come in there right, you was gonna get right or get wrong real quick, right? So I want to speak to a question that says, Coach, back in your day with RDA, toughness wasn't an optional; it was the standard. What do you think we've lost in the transition to the softer generation of today's wrestlers and parents? What do you think we lost in that?
Well, I mean, man, that's a big question. I think to be general, I think social media hasn't really helped us a lot as far as proliferating kind of this old school like toughness, so to speak. And I also think there's some of the old school toughness done wrong. I don't think you should be tearing down kids or rebuking them or whatever, but I definitely think you need to push people, and people need to be accountable for what they do, and I think social media gives kind of a shortcut to be like, oh, look, I did this. I posted out. Look, here's my best thing or whatever. And, nothing of the behind the scenes stuff or whatever. Usually a lot of times, I mean, I know it's changing and I'm old, so social media to me is a little bit kind of over there. I know some kids wake up and that's the first thing they check in, and that's mostly what they care about or whatever. But I think just offering up the highlights of everything of your day without honestly celebrating the grind, celebrating the sacrifice, and celebrating the work, I think it makes the masses see one piece of the story. But Bubba can grind. I mean, Bubba, I knew he was a larger than life guy, when he came into the room, and then I saw his work ethic and I'm like, okay, he's
I appreciate that, my man.
And we're up in the garage at 2 a.m. with the tennis ball or whatever.
We rock some water bottles. If I start a brand called Rocks and Water Bottles and it's like a Thug It Rugged clothing brand, I'm making you co-signer on that, man. Explain to them who may not know what that Rocks and Water Bottles might mean.
Well, here's what it means. I mean, you can go to all these different places and they got all this fancy equipment and this turbocharged internet connected pulley rope thing and
Wi-Fi, Bluetooth.
Wi-Fi, Bluetooth ball or something like that. And it's like, yo, he had water bottles. We didn't have egg shakers, egg weights.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So I just had a couple water bottles. These are what, 12 ounces, 16 ounces. All right, there you go. And he's just moving his hands holding water bottles. And then we didn't even have kettlebell or something. It's just what we found where we're at doing the training.
I can tell you exactly the workout. We went to go work out. Harman says he sends me an address like he does with all his guys, kind of thing. Meet me here, kind of thing. We're gonna grind it out, right? So I'm getting there thinking that there's gonna be a lot of equipment, there's gonna be stuff to work on. We get there and it's kind of just a field, maybe some sand over there. We're in Newport Beach area, so you think it's gonna be pretty and it's gonna be beautiful. And it was a dungeon of a workout, my man. We got there and we found some bottles, like you said. I had found some bottles. He was like, "We're gonna make a workout. We're gonna make it work." I'm like, we're gonna make this work. We got some water bottles, and then around the corner we was running, getting a little workout in our shuffle. Found some big old boulders. He was like, "Grab those rocks. Go grab those rocks." So I'm taking the rocks back to our little fielded area. And he was like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have these rocks and we're going to have these water bottles. And we made he made, not we, I did a 2-hour workout with those rocks and water bottles. And it just made the camp. It made my mindset. It made everything that I was preparing for that much more harder about, like, we don't need no extra this, extra that, no sugar on top. No, give me some of these rocks, some of these boulders, some of these water bottles, some of these jugs, and let's move some heavy things.
That's right. It reminds me of like Rocky IV. Like, you got this guy kind of taking shortcuts, all the fancy stuff over here, but the guy who's really grinding and suffering and putting himself in a spot where he could really just have all his focus on one thing is the most successful. And I think as wrestlers, like what you were saying, most of us take pride in the training and all this stuff that we went through to get the success that we got. And the wins are great and stuff, but you kind of, for me at least, think about, man, like, being on those mats and going up against guys that were just way better than me and putting it to me and how much better it made me to kind of torture myself that way.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of the day, you're out there, whether it's a singlet or for MMA, it's some shorts and it's just your mind and your heart. And there isn't any extra things. There's not any Wi-Fi, Bluetooth tools or whatever. Like, it's what you got in here and it's what you got in here. And it's what you use those two things to put on your body and your skill set or whatever. And it's like mano a mano, one mind against another mind. Both guys are dreaming. Both guys are visualizing themselves the best. Both guys have goals, whether it's money or fame or just taking care of their families, whatever. Hey, it's two dreams in there going head to head. And it's usually dreams that are backed by 10, 12 weeks of camp work. I mean, and even before that, they dreamed enough to like put themselves in that situation. And so, it's two dreams going head to head. And as a coach of that, I look at it like I'm a sculptor, like a master sculptor, and I'm making a sculpture and, making it out of the strongest metal or, stone or whatever. And I'm going to put my sculpture against that sculptors and we're going to see what happens.
Absolutely.
We're going to see who's been sharpening their sword and doing the things their sculptor has said. Quick question. I want to take it back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier in the mindset of maybe this generation versus the last generation. Question on, do you think it's maybe the difference in parenting, or the difference in the athlete, or the difference in coaching, why the generation has maybe shied away from that hard grind or that old coach mentality of?
Yeah, again, that's a good question, tough question to try to encapsulate. I can give you my perspective the best that I can, but again, I don't want to blame it all on the phone and social media, but I think if the kids see like, oh, well, that guy did it, and man, he didn't have to work that hard or whatever, I can do it that way too. And then they see this guy did it. Coach, you're coaching me too hard. This guy's not getting talked to like this, or or whatever it is. And then they will basically, a kid doesn't come in with like a blank canvas, Like, I think when I was coming up, I didn't come in like I knew anything. Right. I came in like, okay, I'm here to learn. I'm here to listen. And then all of a sudden you start seeing, whether it was football or wrestling or whatever, you just see people doing the thing. And you're like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to do the thing. And so I'm going to go get in there and do like they do, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm not as fast as that guy. I'm strong. I'm not, what? But you're just with everybody together, moving together. And then you kind of see the pecking order, and there is the beginning steps of the journey of the grind or whatever. And then as you climb those small little mountains in your own little wrestling room or whatever, man, there's like respect earned in that, and camaraderie grows and
stripes given.
Stripes earned,
Yeah.
And that is like a lost art. People coming in the thing now and they're like, oh, and they want to like post it or they want to put it out. It's like, no. It's a squad right here. Like, impress the squad right here. Impress the coach right there. It's not about dopamine hits and likes and things like this over there or whatever. Do the thing right here where we're at and get good at that first.
Coach, do you think the kids' mindsets are important in that aspect? Now, I went to Sean Bourmet's camp when I was in high school, and I remember going in there just being like, I hope they don't kick me out. I hope they just let me keep coming back, because I wasn't one of those all-star guys. I was there trying to build myself and just hoping. I hope I don't let these guys down. I hope I'm good enough to stay, that kind of thing. And I just kept, trying to do my best every day and get the next takedown and stuff like that.
That's the right mindset.
Absolutely. And that's why, I had the success that I did have.
Yeah.
But I even talking with friends and stuff, they didn't really get that. And it feels like there's more kids nowadays who maybe are like, I'm paying this money to go to this place and I'm the one that's going to decide whether or not this is helpful to me when it's like, hey, I was going to a master and I knew he was a master. Yeah. And I don't know if that's always the case nowadays.
Yeah. Again, like people can see a whole bunch of things that they wouldn't be able to, see before. I remember like my coach was, my first coaches were John and Randy Gonzalez at my high school. And then my next coach quickly was John Azevedo. And then John Azevedo was my coach for the longest period of time. John was an artist, Azevedo. He's an absolute artist, amazing communicator, man of God, gentle with how he supported you and loved you and all that, but he'll get on you. He'll tell you in his way, and it was unique because he was, he's a Christian man. He loved the Lord and all of that. He wouldn't cuss you out or nothing like that, but he'll say, hey, you can do better. You can do more. And then he would get out there and do it right in front of your face. And he's 30 something, 40 at the time. And you're like, dang, he can move.
He's still him.
Yeah. And the level, the perfection, the sharpness, the tenacity, I remember one time, I probably shouldn't tell this story, but it's all right. We were wrestling around, kind of to the death wrestling, and I was getting big. I was junior, senior, or whatever. And John and I were wrestling, and I was dying to wrestle John, all the time. It was the funnest thing. Mm-hmm. It was, you learn so much when you wrestle someone on that caliber. It was legal. He just kept doing this front headlock to me, and I think he might have put me to sleep 15 times. And every time I go to wake up, and I'd be like, ah! And, and he would just be like this, and then let's go again. Let's go. But
those practices exist, by the way, for people who oh, that's crazy. No, we had we college practices. They have one of those unplug the clock practices where coach is like, all right, guys. Let's settle some things in here. Let's get some things straight. There's gonna be some straightening. Yeah, a couple coaches gonna grab a couple guys. Maybe a missed class. Maybe they get all their hours in. But there's gonna be some straightening around here. Maybe a vet, maybe an old head, grab a young buck. These are the days where you get to just. All right, that's 12 minutes of riding time. When you gonna get up?
Oh, Bubba, you're bringing back some bad memories, man. Oh man. Coach, that's an awesome story. Now, if you had to explain your style to a young coach who might be a little kind of nervous to be a little harder on some of his athletes, what would you tell him about what it really means to love your athletes?
Well,
can I make a comment, especially coming from you, who people who don't know is a man who wears his heart on his sleeve. When you pick up an athlete, you truly embrace the love first of loving that person, that athlete, that young man, that young woman, that man who sometimes comes to the mixed martial arts world. You encapsulate love first, and that's why we're coming for you from this angle. Mm-hmm. Explain to them that kind of passion that actually maybe it lifts an athlete to go to the next level.
Man, thank you for asking this question. I'm going to try my best. You didn't tell me these questions before, so I'm going to try my best to articulate what it means to me to be a coach. I didn't come from the best upbringing in my house. My dad was, drinking and other things like this, whatever. And so the house was not like a fun place to stay. He was physical with me and probably got real tough. I learned some toughness from him. We'd get in some scraps and all of that, not good stuff for a young man to come up like that. So I escaped into sports. I escaped into Pop Warner football and then football in high school. And then one day in, freshman football practice, they just put me on the scout D and I lit up this fullback, boom, picked him up and like threw him like in a lateral or whatever. Didn't even know what I did. I just launched him. And then the D line coach was also the wrestling coach. He goes, "You're going out for wrestling." And I was like, "Okay." And he pointed at this little building over there and it was all closed, no windows or nothing. I'm like, "Wrestling? Like Superfly Snuka? Like leopard? Like I didn't know what wrestling was,
Coming off the cage.
Seriously, I thought we were about to be jumping off the top ropes. And then once football was totally done and I went over to wrestling, I was like, I can't believe this is allowed in school. This is so cool, And I just started to learn about the thing,
Yeah.
But I say all that to say wrestling was like a refuge for me, It was anything to keep me not at the house. And then, maybe by the time I got home, my dad was already kind of passed out and done his thing. And I'm just going to go home to like a quiet house instead of getting yelled at or my chores didn't get done or something like that, whatever. So, football was great because you stay late and then you go home, maybe hang out with the guys, go to Taco Bell, get some food or something, go home or whatever. And then you go home, you're like, okay, good. The house is quiet, whatever. I was like, oh, wrestling. Okay, let's see. This will keep me out till about 7 at night, or 8 at night or whatever. And so I started going to wrestling. And again, kind of long-winded on that part, but like those first coaches, they put me together. They knew like, and I know because I have the eyes now, but like you can kind of tell when a kid's got like a little bit of a broken spirit. You can kind of tell, like I call it like when a kid has holes in them, and it kind of comes in your room and you can kind of see like, man, this kid, something's up with him. Like he needs this, he's coming here for a reason. Hey, did you wrestle before? No. Do you have any brothers? No. How'd you hear about wrestling? Well, my friend told me. Okay. And you can kind of see it, and then all of a sudden you start to learn him a little bit more. And then you go, dang, okay, he's got a little situation at home. And, or sometimes you get an overbearing dad. Oh, well, he just needs to work harder. And this and that, whatever. And you can kind of see the kid's body language. Like, man, he probably gets this all the time or whatever. And I just look at that and I just see myself as a, 15-year-old kid just needed a hug, needed someone to like be on my team, needed someone to have my back. My coaches had my back. My first coaches had my back. I don't think they knew the total extent of what was going on inside my house, but they would drop me off and they would talk to me like sometimes for like an hour and a half in the car, dropping me off at my house. I just remember my one coach, John Gonzalez, he had this big old giant Bronco, stunk like gas, just blah, 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 like big, loud. And we'd sit there and we'd talk and talk and talk. And he would just tell me like what a stud I was. Man, you're going to be the next big thing out of this area. You're going to erase all my records. I can't wait to see you at this tournament. Man, you're such a beast. Da, da, da. But like an hour and a half of this, And I was so like hyped up when I went into my house. My house was like a dungeon, But I was so fired up that I was just like, okay. And then boom, go get a shower, whatever. Go do homework and stay in my room, go to bed. Can't wait to get back to practice, to get watered some more by these guys, But like when it was time to like have your back, you felt him have your back. And when it's time for him to like talk to other coaches and the tournaments and seeding meetings and stuff, I would hear how he talked about me and I'd be like, dang, he likes me, whatever. But those guys loved me. And those guys gave me my first oasis of like man building place. And they taught me, and they weren't like big time Jesus guys or nothing like that. They're just good old tough dudes, from that neighborhood. And neighborhood wasn't that best neighborhood, and they're just good, tough dudes that made a place where people could get tough and work hard,
So coach, Coach, what I'm hearing is that they pushed you hard in the room, but they also let you know afterwards that you were important to them,
Yeah.
you were important to your team, you're
Yes.
important to the sport. You're just an important human being.
Exactly. And
And
like I have worth, my efforts are noticed, my efforts have worth, and like you're a good kid. I'm proud of you. I'm proud to know you. Like they made me feel like this, and it was like an unshakable feeling. Like I never not felt like that around them. I never not felt like that.
Is
And
that what you embodied becoming a coach? People who didn't have fathers change the way they father when they get older. People who have those loving coaches that are demanding and accountable of ways, but they encapsulate that.
yeah, for absolutely. And so that gave me my introduction to this type of system,
Mhm.
whatever it was. Not just talking about wrestling, but I guess coach wrestler relationship. You got to go to, he runs a class on Tuesdays and Thursday nights at the junior college. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to start going to that. So I'd go through my daily normal high school wrestling practice. And then a bunch of us would get in a car and go over to this Golden West College on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And that's when I very first met John Azevedo and Joe Gonzalez. And they were both teaching that class. And that's when I saw like studious wrestling mastery. Like I just saw like, oh, this is an actual craft. It's not just tough guys that know some things to throw you on the ground or whatever, but it's like, oh, turn your hand this way or have your head this way or this angle or this movement. And this
The
is a part of the
mechanics, the
weaponry.
details, the
Mhm.
things you don't see, the
Yeah.
things you got to feel out, and him speaking on it and diagnose as a coach with that eye. Like you were
Yes.
saying, you have that eye.
Yes. And I mean, just like PhD level mastery. And he would just see me kind of sitting around the room, and I'm just looking for anyone to wrestle. And sometimes it would be him at the end of the night. And I say, hey, just like show me one thing. Show me one thing. And he's like, okay. And I was clumsy and strong and just, and he was smooth and, finesse and all that. And he was just trying to get me to like shoot a high crotch and get the movement right, my footwork right, my stance right. This dude would stay. I think that practice started at like 6 and it ended at 8. Sometimes he wouldn't leave the room until like almost 10:30, working with me after on little details after a full 2-hour practice that he did.
Yeah.
And then he would always be talking to me about God and stuff like that after the practice, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, just show me the rest of the stuff. I don't really, whatever, because my dad was also involved in the church, and the whole like hypocrisy thing was kind of turned me off to all that talk. But
Big.
John just stayed consistent, and his life reflected it. And he was a loving man that was kind, supportive, all that stuff, masterful at wrestling. And that kind of bought him access to the part of my mind that was like, for God and stuff like that. And I just started listening and honestly just started being around him. And then I finally joined Team, he had already built Team Thunder, and this was like in 91.
Wow.
And so then I joined, Team Thunder Wrestling Club and got immersed in the whole like Calvary Chapel wrestling, world, which
Church boys.
Yeah, it was starting at that time. He started it.
Yeah.
And they ended up winning, I think, 7 or 8 state titles. I mean, they were just a powerhouse. Yep.
Sorry, this is a great segue to our next question, which is that you're a man of faith,
Yeah.
and we'd love to hear a little bit about your faith and why it's so important to you.
Well, I mean, it's everything. It's like oxygen, whether you believe it's there, it's not, it's there, and you need it. And you can choose to open and take it in, or you can be like that, and then eventually you're gonna hit a wall,
You're gonna need it.
And so, I've had some rough patches in my life where I've had to really rely on my faith, and sometimes getting back to the core principles of my faith. But what I do know is that God loves me, and His grace is sufficient for me, and His His grace is inexhaustible towards me, and His love for me has enabled me to recreate myself. Like I said, coming up through a tough house that's like didn't really give me the strongest example of how to be kind or gentle or forgiving or gracious or things like that. Meeting men like John Azevedo and going through being around this whole new environment and learning that like you can be a warrior, you can be a bad dude and still love Jesus and love people and be kind, and I mean, there's a whole longer story. I don't even know how much time you want to get into it, but like, I've been through some rough things in my life, made some bad decisions, got caught up in some things, and really had to, get stripped of everything and rely on my relationship with God and start a real authentic relationship with God, reading his word every day and just taking his promises at point blank, like one little meal at a time, nourishing, like a Bible verse is just nourishing your soul for that day and ruminating on it and meditating on it and acting on it the best that you can. And then just stack one day and then put another day on that day and another day on that day. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, things are changing.
Let me speak on those days, putting one day in front of the other and the next thing. I want to speak on maybe your ride and that one day in front of the other that you had with Rafa dos Anjos, who is a UFC champion, and your ride with him from the fights that he had that were championship fights to the one that he had that you finally seen. Not only those steps go on and on, but the grace of the Lord forever abounding, the blessings forever coming, the promises of God being revealed in front of you on the highest and biggest stage that one could even imagine. Yeah. Speak to that glory and speak to, the dark days that you had leading up to that, and then the glory in coming out of it.
Well, I mean, that's an amazing athlete, and that was amazing chapter of my career in coaching. Rafael dos Anjos was another monster Brazilian MMA fighter that was training at King's MMA in Huntington Beach. Obviously, if anybody knows King's MMA, that's Master Rafael Cordeiro from the legendary shoot box lineage.
Yeah. And if you don't know, this is where I got that beautiful, nice curvature in my nose, right in that gym, right at King's MMA. Forever remember you.
Compliments of
King's MMA.
Yes. But yeah, that was the old school Muay Thai, old school no holds barred MMA gym, directly brought over from Brazil and just making a little piece of Brazilian style training of mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu right there in Huntington Beach. And I was training with a guy named Renato Sobral. Everybody knows him as Babalu. And Babalu was training with me on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And, he's a great MMA fighter, legend, has his own gym and all this stuff, but he loves wrestling. He was a wrestler on the Brazilian national team. And once I started going over to King's, that, which is a funny story in itself. But once I started going to King's, he was like, hey, I need to get your number. I just want to come and wrestle. And so he started to come over to my, my high school gym, Calvary Chapel, where I was coaching at. And we would just wrestle during the day. He would make time around 10, 11 a.m. and he'd get over there. We'd just wrestle for a couple hours. And he'd just be, man, I thank you so much. I miss wrestling with a wrestler. He's a big, strong guy. So it's probably hard to find for him, other big guys that can wrestle and move and not just try to smash and, like just squeeze you or whatever. I would actually like wrestle with them and let them drill and all of that. Anyways, he started telling other Brazilian fighters, hey, this is where the wrestling is, the pure wrestling over here. And then so all of a sudden he was the first, and then João Assis came, and then João Assis was the jiu-jitsu trainer for Fabricio Verdum for that early part of Verdum's career. And so it was those four, us four. So Babalu, João, and Verdum would come every Tuesday and Thursday and then wrestle with me, and I would put them in drills with each other and just give them like fundamental college wrestling training, and they started destroying everyone in all of their fights that involved grappling. Verdum's wrestling got way better, Joao started winning everything in the ADCC and all this type of stuff. And those guys just started telling more guys. And all of a sudden it was just like, we had 35, 40 just legend killers in there. Gracie Mag was so like, what is even going on here? There's 6 weights at ADCC, and we had 5 golds and a silver.
Wow.
At ADCC, all guys that trained there, and they dominated with wrestling, chest wrap, defense, sprawls, and just fundamental and takedowns. Joao was like a takedown machine. He's taking down everybody, and then they would just integrate. They're already masterful at submissions, and so they would just integrate their submission game into like a college wrestling style, and we created like this hybrid, wave of monsters that was just echoing out through the jiu-jitsu community. And so, that's part of the path, and what ended up bringing Dos Anjos there, because Babalu was a fixture at Kings, and I think Dos Anjos was like on a 2-fight losing streak, and he was about to get kicked out of the UFC. And I think the fight before that he lost, he might have lost to a wrestler. And so when he came to Kings, Babalu says, hey, you need to work on your wrestling. You should come with us over to this thing at Calvary Chapel Church Boys. And so he started showing up, and he came in humble. Like I said, he was like on a 2-fight losing streak in the UFC. And so he's just like, I'll do whatever, and just immersed himself into wrestling training. And all those guys complained about how hard it was in the beginning, hard on their backs, being in a stance all that time, and all the footwork and stuff, because they're used to playing guard, and it's a little bit different pace, But he just really dedicated himself to it. And then I think the first fight that we had that I cornered him in was a kid named Anthony Giaquani, and then he beat the brakes off of Giaquani, and he took him down a bunch, and he beat him. And I feel like that was the beginning of like a 10-fight win streak that he had with us all the way to the belt. I think he only he did drop one match, and it was versus Khabib. He lost to Khabib.
Wow.
But it was like 8 or 10 fights up until that Khabib fight. And then he won like 3 more until he beat Pettis, took the belt from Pettis. And I would say that's one of my better, hybrid, like amazing striker, amazing jiu-jitsu, amazing offense and defense wrestling. Like, here's the package. And that was a kid that, Cordero and I got a chance to train. And so.
That's awesome. Coach.
Yeah.
You've coached a couple world champions. Your most recent world champion, the first ever real American freestyle world champion, Nathan Tomasello.
Yes.
How long have you known NATO, and what's it like having him as an athlete?
Man, well, I've known of NATO for a long time. It was funny because I remember walking into the Ironman tournament. I was there, with my team, Calvary Chapel. He was on the mat, like right when you come out the hall. There's a mat right here, right when you come out the hall, and he's having that match with who's the dude that put him on his back for like 9 right off the bat, and then he came back all the way and he won it. He ended up beating him in the NCAA finals. What was the guy? Oh, it's slipping my mind right now.
Let's go, Charlie C. You're up.
West Virginia guy, I think. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now.
Zeke Moisey.
Moisey, yes. And so I'm walking in, and I'm like, oh, we're out here in Ohio. Let's see some amazing Ohio wrestling. And I knew of his name. I think Flow Wrestling was starting by then, and all of that. And I'm like, oh, this kid's tough, And I just saw him warming up and everything. I'm gonna watch this kid. And I walk out there, and I think it's a semis, and he's wrestling Moisey. And I'm telling everybody, oh, watch this Tomasello kid. Oh, man, he's going to light this guy up. And then Tomasello goes out, and I think he hits a high crotch or 2 or whatever. And then he gets caught in this cradle, bro. And he's like almost pinned. It looked like dead to rights pinned, right? And then he just somehow fights through that, or maybe the time or something like that. And I feel like he's down like 9-2 or 3 or something like that. And then he just started plugging away, and came back, and he beat Moisey. And all my students were with me, and they were just like, "Oh my gosh, that was the most amazing match." And I think he was a junior in high school at the time. So that's like the first time I kind of saw him, with my eyes. But I didn't know him. I was like, "Hey, good match," or whatever, But I remembered him. And then all of a sudden he goes off to Ohio State and he does this thing and obviously wins a national title right out the gate. And then, 4-time Big Ten champion. I mean, Bubba can speak to how tough that conference is. That is, 4-time Big Ten down in those small weights.
Listen,
and he took out Spencer Lee his senior year.
Yeah.
To win that thing.
Yeah.
4 times in the Big Ten. That's 4 times in the SEC for football. That's 4 times in the ACC for basketball. That is the creme de la creme of conferences for all our Matt Mechanic fans out there. Yeah. And to do it 4 times in that conference with Iowa, Michigan State, Purdue, name them. And for Ohio State, Nathan Tomasello to come up with 4 of them things. They get rings for that. Yeah. They came up with 4 of those. Is incredible.
Yeah. So obviously the kid that I saw on that mat, he had the heart of a lion. He came back. He won that match. I think he ended up winning that Ironman. I'm not sure. I have to go back and study, but I knew of him. I was always a fan of him. And I watched him in college, and man, this kid's a beast. I knew he was going to be a beast or whatever. Then when I kind of lost track of him. I don't watch every single kid forever, But I think he went out to Duke after Ohio State. I know he did a little stint up at Michigan with Bormet for a little bit, wrestling out there. I think it's prime time, right? Is that his or overtime or whatever?
It was overtime.
Yeah.
NATO was they're just a Cliff Keen wrestling club now. But yeah, overtime was the club back in the day. So
I knew he did a patch there, and then I think he went to Duke. And then I saw he got on the staff out here at CBU, and I was like, oh my gosh, we got this guy out in California now. And so the very first time I was at a tournament or something like that, and I saw him, I was like, hey man, good to see you. I'm glad you're out in California. I coach Team Thunder Wrestling. I need to have you out for a clinic. Let me get your number. Let's figure it out and, whatever. But I'm a big fan, and, I've been a fan of you since you were a kid. And it's great to have you out here. Welcome to Southern California. If you need any help around here or whatever, I've been out here all my life, so I can plug you into other clinics or get with other coaches or whatever. And just like, hey, good to make a connection. Mm-hmm. And then we just kept talking, and, he was really like normal, just texting back and forth and just developed a relationship. He's just a cool dude that loves wrestling. And he's asking me about kids. Hey, how's this kid looking? What do you know about this kid? Because he's, recruiting for CBU. And I'm like, oh, whatever. And so it kind of became like that, Mm-hmm. Then I took my whole club out to a CBU duel, and everyone goes there. And I think NATO might have done a clinic with us or with my buddy's team before then. So now the kids kind of knew him. And so when we went to the duel, they're all going up and taking photos with him. Then he calls me not too long after that. And he's like, hey, let's, when's good for the clinic? And then we're talking. And then I find out that he's not, it sounded like he resigned or he's not too happy at CBU or whatever. And so, he's going to be making a move. And I was like, okay, well, where are you headed? And he's like, I don't really know yet. And I was like, oh, well, okay. And I just, I called our donors, I called whatever. I says, hey, I need to get this guy in the room, at least a couple times a week if I can. And, figured out what, NATO's situation was. And he had just recently resigned from CBU. And, he's doing some club stuff here and coaching a little bit here or there, or whatever. And I says, well, put us on your schedule. And, I'll give you X amount, thousands of dollars a month or whatever to come over here and train with these kids. He's like, all right, sounds good. And so that's how we picked him up. And so he's been coaching the Team Thunder, I don't know, 4 or 5 months now, it seems like. Mm-hmm. And so these lucky, stinking high school kids getting Nathan Tomasello teaching the technique on Mondays. And then at the same time as when he mentioned the whole thing about this whole new RAF league that's coming out. And he's like, hey, man, I really need some help, training with this. And I had trained a kid, Fernando Barreto, that had just All-American at the U.S. Open. And he's in NATO's weight class. and NATO and him trained it. He placed higher. NATO didn't place at that U.S. Open, and Fernando took 7th. And they started talking. They started drilling and working out together. And then Fernando says, "Yeah, you got to come over to Thunder as well." Fernando was coaching with me at Thunder, and we just trained him for that, Open, and got himself on the podium. We're pretty proud of that.
Yes,
Absolutely.
the first one.
Yep. And so, anyways, it was just weird how all this synergy kind of, meshed together, and these guys are working out with each other now. And Fernando's been a huge part of the camp versus RBY. Fernando is very fast and can simulate that style a lot, which is a very hard style to simulate. I mean, RBY is an artist. He's an artist. He's fast. He's just out of the box thinking, all kinds of different things, and just a real showman in the sport. And I think Fernando is doing an amazing job, simulating that style for us. And so big shout out to Fernando. He's wrestling down at Vanguard University now.
All right. Well, let's get some picks on there for you. We got 10 matches at the RAF2 in State College, October 25th. I'll be on the 1s and 2s. Your boy's going to be the play-by-play. I'll be the Minister of Combat. Check in with me. We got Green versus, let's go with Taz. Who you got in that matchup? Taj has beaten David Carr, and I think he has a win against Dake as well.
What?
So, that puts him in some rare air. So
who's got to win over Dake? Who's got to win over Dake?
This dude Taj.
Wait a minute.
He's wrestling against Green.
Oh, Sal Kazanov.
Yeah, Sal Kazanov. He's beaten David Carr recently, and I believe in the freestyle world before he beat Dake before. So, it's one of the earlier matchups in the night. We got James Green versus Taj Salzakhanov. Who you got?
Man, well, I mean, before that, I was all Green, obviously. We all know James Green is so fast. He's a beast. But now I don't know. Now I got to go on this dude. He beat David Carr? What?
Yeah.
Man, these RAF matchmakers, dude, they find some diamonds in the rough,
Hey, shout out to my man Lance Palmer on some of these as well. Yeah, he's got the matchmaker position over there with some of the other guys, but shout out to Lance Palmer for putting some of these together. Carr versus Rita, the next match. David Carr versus Rita.
I gotta go.
Might not know much of that guy.
Yeah, I don't know much of him, but I know David Carr. David Carr, he's gutted out some matches. He's tough. He's so slick. He's so creative. But he's also won some tight matches that were like, man, had to use your mind and had to use your heart. It's hard to bet against that.
It's in the blood, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, obviously his dad is a legend and perfectionist, and that whole family is monsters, bro. They're so good at wrestling. And
there's an older brother that was a monster during my generation. So it ain't just one. It ain't one hitter quitter with his dad. He know how to wrestle. He know how to coach it.
100%.
What happened?
I have to go with Carr.
Yeah, all right. We'll take that. And then we got like this is more of an entertainment match. It's an influencer matchup. We got Muggsy versus Henshaw. Henshaw was a Division II wrestler, and they already had this matchup before where Henshaw, I think, beat him 7-2 or something rather handily for a college matchup. Something like that in college is pretty good kicking. But I do know Muggsy as a very good competitor, a grinder. Yep. He's training with one of my middle school, elementary. I got his picture up here somewhere. Middle school, elementary school rivals, who's a great coach to this day, Jacob Howland. So I'm actually excited to see the improvements that they make from the last loss that Muggsy took. So who do you got in maybe the rematch of Muggsy and Henshaw?
Man, I didn't know all that backstory. I was going to say Henshaw. But now that you said all that, I think I got to go with Muggsy. It's hard to say, but I've seen Muggsy's stuff, and he's a beast. So we'll see.
All right. Okay, let's go with the next matchup. I don't know where it's going to be on the card, but Stariucci back at Penn State versus Nate Jackson coming into the Lions Den.
Oof.
Carter Starrucci has been, obviously, he's the first 5-timer, and he's Penn State's own.
Yeah.
And then coming in with the underdog, big dog Nate Jackson, and he's been doing his thing since he's hit the international level as well.
Man, I like that matchup. Carter Starrucci versus Nate Jackson.
And this ain't Penn State wrestling. This is freestyle now, real American freestyle. So it changes the scrambling ability that maybe some of these guys get into.
Yep. Well, we all know Nate Jackson is a beast. He's got a big old blast double, and he's powerful. I'm gonna give a little bit. I'm gonna slide over to Starrucci on that one, but I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. I think it's gonna be a tactical match where Starrucci needs to somewhat try to contain Jackson somehow.
All right. We got that. Starrucci over Jackson. All right, we got a legend on the next card, and she's a woman on this group with the only women on the card right here.
Samantha Stewart. She's a Canadian wrestler, and Helen Maroulis.
Oh, Helen.
Yeah, you're going with Helen.
Yeah, I got Helen. Well, Helen used to train at Calvary.
Yeah, and she just won a world championship. She's coming fresh off a world championship not weeks ago.
She's sharp. When it's like, okay, we're training now, she's like a soldier, and she's very, very smart, very tactical. She's got a whole bunch of moves. I mean, she can foot sweep you, throw you, arm spin you, single leg you, double leg you, inside trip you. I mean, front headlock. She's
very tricky.
Yeah, she's got a dynamic game.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to go with Helen on that for sure.
All right. I'm gonna need a little help with this next one. I know we got Megaludis, but who is Megaludis wrestling, Charlie C?
Yatsenko. I don't have a first name here.
Megaludis versus Yatsenko.
Let's get some info on Yatsenko here.
Yeah, because we Americans, being that it's real American freestyle, we're just gonna be like, "Oh, Nico Megaludis." We don't even know the other guy.
Yatsenko won a bronze in 2017 at 57 kilos. 27 World Championships, lost to Thomas Gilman 5-2, and battled back to earn that bronze.
Well, I mean, like obviously you're right. I'm gonna go Megaludis. Because I'm an American, and I know Nico is a high-level pedigree out of that Penn State room. He probably got some good partners to work out with over there too, right? So they're doing some things. I don't know this other gentleman, but I'm just going to have to go off of that. Although I haven't studied Megaludis' journey in freestyle that much. I know that his style involves a lot of rolling around and scrambling and stuff like that. So I don't know how much that's going to translate to RAF with the freestyle rule set, but I'm going to give it to our American dude.
All right. We're going to see you on October 25th.
Yes.
Now we're going up there with the big boys, and we got Paris versus Romanov.
Oof. Well, I think give me some of Romanov's stats.
Charlie C., you're up on that one.
He was a Moldovan national champion, and he was in the UFC, a top 15 heavyweight.
PFL as well. He was in the PFL. I remember that fight. A couple of fights there.
There's not a whole lot about his freestyle chops here other than earning international honors and rising through UFC with an unorthodox MMA style. So sounds like he probably doesn't have any world medals going up against Mason Paris of the United States.
Well, at the last RAF, this ginormous human being was walking around, and this Mason Paris. And I mean, he's huge, bro.
Yeah, he's a big man.
I mean, Wyatt's a good size heavyweight.
And
Mason is bigger than Wyatt. Wow. And just
now Wyatt was wrestling, so we got to give maybe some in weight, in camp difference in weight versus Paris. Just watching as a fan, so let me give him some But I know that Paris could care less about some Romanov. I know he wants to get through it to get to what you're saying right now that Wyatt matchup.
I'm gonna have to go red, white, and blue, bro. You know how it is. You gotta keep it Uncle Sam.
I feel it. I feel it. Now, this one is the matchup I'm most excited for nothing to do with wrestling. It has everything to do with the entertainment, the fact that the match might not even finish. We got Pat Downey versus Jake Varner in the Lions Den. Talk about guys walking around at the last event that were huge.
Yeah.
I don't know where the weight difference is going to be with
Varner's a beast.
He's a beast, and he's been gone for a while, but we have that matchup and the underdog in Pat Downey and Jake Varner.
I was at Penn State Room maybe a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. But every time I've been there, I've seen Varner like throwing around Kirk Levitt and, just wrestle with big, huge, giant guys. And, Varner's not young, not like a college age. And he's in there scrapping day to day with that level of guys. It's his job. And so it's not like he's dusting them off and like deciding to come out and wrestle. Like he is testing every single day with the best, in the nation. So I don't think Downey's on that level. I think Downey's good at hype and talking and this and that. But I think when Downey's really gone head to head with high level wrestlers, it's, you just see the level difference. I'm gonna have to go with the California kid, Jake Varner, with that monstrous half Nelson.
All right, I can understand that. I can understand the world going that way. All right, we got RBY versus Tomasello. I don't even know what we should ask you about this one.
Who you picking, Coach?
You know what it is. You know what it is. I'll tell you what, my guy looks like you're gonna see some things you never seen out of him before. We like ask Bubba. Like I am a wrestling nerd. I study wrestling, like for enjoyment. I'm gonna get on
mechanic with it.
And yes. And I'm gonna get on some YouTube and I'm gonna go and study some wrestling. Like that's chilling for me. It's just watching wrestling and studying. And I don't want to be talking too much about this match before this match or whatever, but I saw a bunch of things that like, okay, we can work with, and there's some ticks and some entries and et cetera, et cetera. And I saw him early, as soon as I knew that name was who we got, I just started studying. And I got some little like presents to unwrap on the 25th. You guys are gonna see some stuff out of this little guy that you haven't seen before. Yeah. And, not only strength or whatever, but you'd be so surprised. I think a lot of people just think he's just like a strong little, bulldog. Dude, this guy can jump so high. Yeah. He's so quick. And he's a rocks and water bottles dude, Bubba. That's people awesome. Train like in the sand. He don't, whatever. Let's go. Let's go. How many? How fast? How far? Whatever. There. Yeah. Okay, now, boom. And just come back.
Love it.
And again. Like I can just tell him again and again, and he'll just go. He doesn't talk back. He doesn't break down. He doesn't give me a face. He doesn't. This is a high level guy, and he's just like, yes, sir. And he's a machine. And so
Steel, huh? Yeah. You're coming home with the belt, and Steel, what's up?
In their
house. Nathan Tomasello, I did this on the round table, has never lost to a Penn State athlete.
Ooh, that's a fun stat.
Hey,
I'm saying.
He's been there a couple of times. He done been to the den a couple of times. Yep. All right, that's awesome. Of course, I ain't gonna call you biased. I'm gonna just call you, where the money goes.
Hey, all respect, RBY. So, dude, we're gonna
You're in for it.
We're gonna do some gunslinging.
Yeah,
sculpture versus sculpture, gunslinging.
Low man dance time, baby. Yeah. Low man dance.
Let's go.
All right, who you got in the final bout of the night? And we got the legendary 444 Dake going against Makeoff. How you say his name, Charlie C? Makeoff?
I'd say
I'm practicing. I got about 9 to 10 days. I'm gonna be practicing.
It's probably Makev or Makoev or something.
Makoev, yes. Makoev. Dake versus Makoev.
It's hard to. I mean, I don't want to just sound like a USA only guy.
I mean, it's called Real American Freestyle.
Yeah. I mean, Jake is on a different level. He's a student of himself, of his body and his fitness and all of that. And I've heard some things about like he's like, no, I won't eat that because it might have touched this and whatever. Like he's super strict on everything, like a scientist about what he puts in his body at what time or whatever. He
said he's aging backwards.
I was about to say that, man. I was about to say that line. That was so funny.
He's getting younger every day.
But I mean, look at what he does. He went out and what was a poor Oklahoma State kid, I think it was, or an Oklahoma kid.
Yeah, it was Oklahoma State kid. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at him get balled up, but I can't remember his name.
I mean, that's a current kid who's in NCAA right now, and Jake was just kind of, I'm not trying to throw shade, but like he was just on a different level.
Yeah.
So,
we're excited to see Jake once again defend that belt.
Yeah.
Well, Jacob Harman, this has been Matt Mechanics. This has been the first episode. We got you on the ones and twos. We got a good interview with you. Got to talk your story. Is there any lasting comments you have? Anything you want to say? Make sure you plug your people. Make sure to plug where you get it at and plug the event.
Yeah, well, I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity. Bubba, I love you. And man, our paths crossing is one of the most favorite seasons of my life. You have so much energy, and you're made for this. The role that they got you in right now, it's like I've seen this for years before it even happened, and you are just made for this. And I mean, if anybody knows the ins and outs of wrestling and the grind and overcoming things or whatever, it's all embodied inside of Bubba Jenkins. And so for you to bring that energy to the mic and to the wrestling fans, I mean, we are very blessed to have you. And I am so happy, as a brother and as a friend, I'm so happy to see you planted and flourishing and doing amazing there. And I think God is so good to all of us. I think this thing is a really cool idea that you guys have started up with this podcast. And it'll be great to hear some more coaches on there just bragging on their guys and bragging on their sculptures and, excited about their craft. And, that's what I am, is I'm just blessed that I get to do this craft. These coaches, as we hinted on before, like they changed my life. The coaches saved my life, and now I get to make a good living doing exactly that. And like, I can see a kid come in with holes in them, and I say, hey, come with me. I'm gonna make you strong. I'm gonna make you powerful. I'm gonna make you proud of yourself. I'm gonna make you believe. And then all of a sudden, you see this kid get a scholarship.
We as athletes are grateful. We're so excited for your next matchup. And I always say, man, as much as they throw rocks on you, as much as they try to hell on you, man, can't kill Jacob, man. It can't kill Jake, baby. Don't keep seeing you, my man. Love to have you. Thank you for it. Charlie C., any closing statements?
Hey, man, this was fantastic. Thanks for checking out our first episode, everyone. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Please make sure to check out Real American Freestyle 2 on Saturday, October 25th, only on Fox Nation. If you're in the State College area, there's still plenty of tickets available. Go to Real American Freestyle for those tickets so you can see the show live. And we'll see you next time on the Matt Mechanics with Bubba J and Charlie C.
Let's go.
All right, Bubba, it's that time of the show. It's time to pay some bills.
Absolutely. Let's pay some bills. Shout out to my people over there at Dialed Moods. Y'all see the energy. Y'all feel the energy. Y'all feel the pump. They have been helping your boy get ready for the show. They're friends of the show right now. So we want to give a shout out to them and everybody who's going to be coming a part of the show. It's going to be a great show here with Charlie C. and Bubba J at Matt Mechanics. And right now we're just giving some people some love that have been giving the love back to us. Again, shout out to my people at Dialed Moods. I should have cracked one open in front of you guys, but wait till my package comes in. It's going on the show. Charlie C., back to you.
This guest, he is an RAF athlete. He is a world team member. He is Pat Downey coming up onto the stage. Pat, welcome to the show.
Hey. Thanks for having me on, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
one of my favorite combat athletes. You feel me? Because I was getting booed before the boos was happening, before they was popular, before they set alarms to it. I was already waking up to it. So the fact that I got my man PD on the channel right now. Welcome to Matt Mechanics, my man. Check out the podcast. Check out the studio we in. We just doing some things, and then cool. I see you're doing some things with the upcoming event with Real American Freestyle. You're going into the Lion's Den. So listen, tell me. I've been there before. I've welcomed some, and I've been brought to welcome.
Yeah.
What's on your heart right now?
Both sides of the coin. Yep. Well, shout out Bubba J, man. You surely paved the way. I want to say the last time I seen you was after you pinned David Taylor in St. Louis. You remember that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's barely there, but bits and pieces come up every now and then.
Yeah. We aging like wine though, man. So you laid the groundwork, and Penn State, familiar foe for me. It's actually my first official visit. Me and Nick Gwiz, Kale brought us in, and I was shadowing Ed at the time, and Frank Molinaro was there. So I've been competing against these guys, whether it's training, practicing, or U.S. Opens or World Teams. The path to Team USA goes through Penn State. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. I even called the last Olympic trials the Penn State trials. I mean, they booing the GOAT there at JB. They booing Burroughs at the Team USA trials. Shit felt like a college dual meet. You feel me? Like it did not feel like Team USA, but that's the stronghold they got on the game right now. Because if you're putting half of Team USA out there, and you putting out half of the NCAA champs, rightfully so.
You got the game in a headlock. You call the shots. You can move a little bit the way you want to move. I remember, listen, before Kale came in, right, we got to smelling like our shit didn't stink one time. We got ranked for like 2 hours, number one in the country. Our team as a country, as a team, we were ranked number one in the country during my stint there at Penn State. It happened a couple times, but there was this one particular time where we got ranked number one in the country. And 2 hours later, we had lost to Cornell. We had lost to Missouri. But like it was, once you get that feeling of being number one in the country, man, sometimes that aura is different. You fart and you be like, ooh, you smell that cologne.
Surely.
You know
what
I'm saying? So so they've been stanking at the top for a long time. So it's ingrained a little bit in the way a lot not only the fans act, but a lot of the folks there act. They
the truth, man. You see it at weigh-ins. They just and they in their home territory. And so for me, it's really cool coming into that. That hostility. Like I get off to it. Like it fires me up. It's like, let me come in here and try to spoil the party. Let me come in here and do something y'all obviously don't want to see done. It's just like
I love that. So my question for you, my man, with you going against a Olympic champion, a beast in size of Jake Varner, you're going into what he now calls his home territory and his home at Penn State, as he's the coach there. He's massive. You've been doing jiu-jitsu a little bit. You've been scrapping a little bit. I mean, I don't mind if it go a little left and it go to a fight. I might have you on some scrappy wild boy stuff.
Yeah.
But between the lines, if it stays wrestling to wrestling, I need to hear your strategy on how you plan to topple this man.
Sure. Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's got to get a little scrappy, right? We got to make it a little chippy and like stay true to my roots. Like I'm healthy, and I'm in shape. I'm not compromised right now. I got my legs and lungs under me, so I can push the pace and I can do the things on the mat that I had to do when I was going through the gauntlet. Taking out Heflins and Martins and Brookses and Nichols was there and Zahid's and Jackson's. Like these are all. Aaron Brooks, like these are all fire athletes. So I'm not like unfamiliar to the best competition. You know what I mean? I was top
Yeah.
5 in the world. Like, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
a Pan Am's like I got accolades too. Now I'm not an Olympic.
Check my man resume. Don't be
I'm just
shaking.
saying. Yeah,
You
like
know what I'm saying? He been
you know,
through some wars. You know what I'm saying?
I'm signed up
win,
for
lose,
real
or draw.
American.
He don't been bumping and
Exactly.
grinding.
Exactly. Like my mother was even saying, like, "Oh, you don't sound as cocky, as confident. Are you sure you're ready?" And I'm like, "Mom, every time I sound so cocky, you call me arrogant and cocky. Now you tell me be humble. Now I'm being humble because I'm recognizing I got a real you know, the head coach of the NWC, whatever, Nittany Lion Wrestling. Yeah, like back to your point though, this man's been a very key part of their formula. He run, you know what I mean? Snyder, all these guys that are having success are underneath of him, and he's in that room. So I might not have, you know, the assets of being in a wrestling room like that every day. You know, definitely not in the best RTC in America. I don't have that. So, you know, he does have. You know, I haven't been in the full-time freestyle game like he, you know, even though he's been retired. What's he, 39, 40?
Yeah, no,
He's 39. He hasn't wrestled since 2016 World Cup.
I want to say I was 2015 against Muhammadian. Not that I've been watching him or anything.
Not even studying or nothing.
Hey, and back to Batman point, man. That is a monster of a man. Even so check this. It was Jake in 2012, Herbert and Varner, and I'm the only medalist in that same year at the Olympic Training Center for juniors. So I'm with these guys, and I'm like wondering how is he making that weight? So like the fact that we ain't got no scale, you saw me drinking my milk. I'm trying
to beef
Show
up.
us your diet right now. Let's see that diet.
I'm on like a
milk
gallon
cookies.
a day of this shit. Trying to keep my weight up.
What brand of cookies is that? Let the people know.
They healthy sprouts, I think. I don't know. But yeah, man, he's a big boy and he's properly trained. And I've been watching this shit. Like obviously his go-to's that ankle pick. You see Aaron try to get off that on me, and I slip it, and I take your back from that. So I got quite a few counters stylistically that I think I match up real well if I'm able to get to some positions like some chest wraps, front headlocks, 50-50 body locks, clinches. Like, you know, I get my hands locked. I've never found a man I can't take down. So I'm ready. I'm really ready, man.
That's awesome, Pat. So we've talked a little bit about Varner's training. How's your training go? Where are you training? I saw a little like Pat Downey Wrestling Club on the internet. Is that a thing?
Oh man, I don't know about that. I ain't got no personal wrestling club. Maybe the PD3
He's
RTC.
open for calls.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm open though. We got any investors? Let me know. I'll get this shit cracking. We need a South Florida like freestyle wrestling hub, man. There ain't no regional training center down here.
No, yeah. And when you back to your question on or your statement on best RTC in the country, you got them over Okie State? What they building over there?
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, just because they're so new and green. Now, I'm not saying, you know, results can't go differently, but I'm just I'm a man of the numbers. You just look at the who's got the most guys at the trials, and every bracket you got three, four, and you know how hard it is to even qualify for the trials. Yeah. So, you know, you got like 8 to 12 mugs in there that on any given day could all come out represent Team USA, and a lot of them battles are like them against themselves. Like they just been doing this shit in practice every other day. So it's like, you know, it's
that's
tough.
what it was like, bro. Being a part of my 4 years there, it was we had the Big Ten tournament in the room. You know, as soon as Kel came in the room, they started bringing referees. So like now our Saturday matches weren't just like, you know, Saturday scrambles and whatnot. Nah. We was keeping records in that bitch. So it mattered, you know, beating Kyler and beating David and beating those guys on Saturday helped you to get ready for whoever was coming on the weekend. And those are the guys who are in the room. When there's guys in the room, those Saturday matches with referees, it get them ain't your friends.
Nah, they're real simulations. I understand what you're saying. And like back to Charlie's question, it's tough to find that. If I'm just being honest, you know what I mean? So I'll put my singlets on and I'll go up to college rooms, UCF, like club rooms in the area. I train at Killcliff. You know, there's a lot of guys. I was just with Hamzat's camp for a while. I do that. I was with Kelvin Gastelum for a while. And then you know, when I go to Herbert Burns' room at the Way, I was just there today, as a matter of fact. He's got a nice gym close to me in Lantana. So I'm active. I train 2 to 3 times a day, but you know, ain't nothing like that pure, real
Yeah,
American wrestling, freestyle wrestling. You know what I mean?
I
It's just
understand it.
nothing like it. So,
Yeah.
you know.
My question now is, okay, have you wrestled in Rec Hall before? Like the old school where, you know, back in the day, Rec Hall, like before they made it to Bryce Jordan Center.
No, never
Okay.
competed there in like a college dual meet or anything.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, I
So,
competed at the Olympic trials and now I'm competing at the Bryce Jordan Center. I'm pretty sure the Olympic trials was at the Bryce Jordan Center as well.
okay. So yeah. So the difference, like my remembrance is being at Rec Hall, and it's like a legendary kind of like traditional, like kind of hub.
A
You
lot
can
more intimate.
feel.
A lot
Yeah.
more
Oh,
intimate.
it's very intimate. You
It
know,
reminds me of
people
Lehigh,
are on
like
the
where the
mat.
final X
Yes.
wrestle off, like Lehigh, the
Yes.
pit, the snake pit. Like it reminds me of that.
Very much like the snake pit, but
Yeah.
people didn't really recognize it as that because the snake pit was at one of kind, and Penn State would just have so many people that it looked as like the snake pit. They're
Yeah.
just different, but ours just has so many people. So my biggest thing is like, okay, I'm gonna go back to Penn State and look at Rec Hall. You know, I think my name on the wall around there somewhere. You know, I think I got some pictures up or something. You know,
Yeah,
I
there's
think I
something
did
there.
something there. You know, once or twice. But I'm gonna see what the difference is and like the atmosphere that Rec Hall brought me
Yeah.
versus what I know them to have built at the Bryce Jordan Center, because I'm the dust under that rug they try to cover up that made them wrestlers that big to get to that Bryce Jordan Center. You know, we
Facts.
was just at
Facts.
Rec Hall when I was wrestling, but
Facts.
we was in the bracket, and the year I won nationals, that's the year that I recruited all those guys with Kale to.
Yeah.
That's the year he took his team to win nationals. If I do say so myself, Penn State, send me my ring. But
Yeah.
other than that,
I think you'll get your flowers when you're there. I think you'll be properly greeted. You know what I mean? And your name's enshrined there. You've done what you've done. Like it's in history already. So I think you'll also really like it, because as much as I love to hate and crack jokes and Aaron Brooks popping for steroids, you know what I mean? All that. As much as I love all their little drama, you know,
Their
all that
dramatics.
virtue thing on, I love all that shit coming to light. But they
Yes.
do have some loyal fans, and they do know how to pack that mother. That thing is
yeah.
packed.
Yeah,
Happy Valley
absolutely.
loves wrestling, bro.
Yes, they do. Pennsylvania State as in whole loves
Yeah,
that
right.
wrestling.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
PA, yeah.
Charlie C, what you got for me, big dog?
All right. Well, I was thinking we've been talking about, you know, Varner's got all the partners. He's got the big room. He's got the size advantage. A lot of people are looking at you as the underdog, Pat. How do you feel about being an underdog just in general, and then also coming up to this matchup on October 25th?
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like the underdog, so that's cool. I mean, I'm the one who's active. I'm the one who's, 33, feel like personally in my prime. I like wrestling big guys. I wrestle them a little differently than I would wrestle somebody smaller. I mean, that's the beauty of like the grappling scene. I don't pick and choose my partners. Like I've never said no against any man, so I'm not going to start. So I feel ready to compete. I really don't feel like I'm the underdog in this match. And
There was no other name. They didn't throw any other name out there. They just threw Jake Varner out, and you were like,
nah, they
"Let's do it."
threw a few names. I said yeah to all of them. But Aaron Brooks, yeah. I mean,
sure. Call me back. Sure. If he
Yeah,
says yeah,
location,
sure. Call me
sure.
back.
West Point, yeah, let's run it. When I'm checking my dates, yeah, we're good. I just couldn't do the first event because I had the CJI, and I was like, man, I would love to, but it's on the same date. I gave my word, signed a contract, and I'm going to go compete for $1 million and take. It just didn't make sense for me at the timing. But I'm super stoked to make my debut on this platform and get back to wrestling. Because that barefoot shit, them pulling guard, you know what I mean?
You having position and getting caught in something like,
I mean, like I don't even get swept or submitted, and I'll lose, and I'll be like, huh.
Different world.
I'll be
Different
stunned. I'll be
world.
hurt. I'll be actually sick about it. I'll be prideful.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I ain't lose. Calling my mom, calling everybody. Like I ain't lose.
if I met that dude in the alley, guaranteed I'd take his wallet.
Yeah, you know, and who's pulling guard in Baltimore? I'm from Baltimore City. You don't pull no guard. You get stopped, poked up, like you look ridiculous. You get laughed.
Yes, sir. I'm from the DMV. I'm already knowing, sir.
You get laughed at.
Yeah.
You get a goofy wet chicken nugget pulling guard in the street on concrete. What
controlling the game is more masculine, but pulling guard and that style of jiu-jitsu is not the most masculine looking or appearing. But if we're going to be serious, now we can go back to where we're home at, back to what we love. Now we're going back to real American freestyle.
Right.
Of course, we're hoping that eventually there comes a folk style or a Greco or this gets, you know, even much more beautiful than it is. But check out real American freestyle as it is. What do you think about the fact that we got our own pro sport for wrestlers, our own pro thing going on?
It's been something I've been dreaming of and speaking on, like, man, USA Wrestling got to get out of the Flow Wrestling's thumb. We got to have Wrestling Wednesday like the WWE on Fox or something. We got to have it on TV. And now we do. Like, now it's not just your hardcore wrestling nerd. It's general civilians that are going to see this sport, and you know, they're building it up like some UFC embedded type. It's very professional. They're allowing me, you know, and I'm not getting filtered. I'm allowed to speak my mind. I don't have any weird contracts or stipulations saying I can't speak on, you know what I mean? So it's
they made me the commentator.
Yeah, I mean, they made me the commentator.
So you know they letting people be free around that.
This shit is lit, bro. This is how wrestling has supposed to have been. And mind you, we're getting a little bag to come compete. You know, I'm not paying.
Mind you, you know,
I'm not paying. I'm not coming out of pocket to perform and entertain. Like, come on, my services are rendered for what I've been doing my whole life. And it's finally come full circle. I'm just so blessed, humbled, happy, grateful, all the above, you know, all the proper adjectives. I'm feeling it. And like I genuinely think, like, man, because when I got canceled from USA Wrestling over some stupid ass liberal tweets and about some they call me a misogynist. When, mind you, I got two little sisters, a mother that I love, my grandma Betsy. Like, I love all the women in my life. So when I got canceled for that petty ass shit, it just told me, like, hey, you trying to stick around at a party like you really don't belong in. Like, you could have canceled me for anything else before that. You chose the tweets. Like, come on. Like, you just really, once I became that guy, once I was that guy, they didn't want me to be there. I wasn't there. You know, I didn't get my white treatment. I didn't get my poster boy shit. Like, that shit went right past me. You know what I mean?
I understand
David Taylor, Kyle Snyder, that's the trophy boy. You know what I mean? Like, so I always felt not invited to the club, and then Izzy hollered at me, and I'm like, man, y'all are doing this for real. And I'm at CJI competing, watching Real American Freestyle. So I'm like, I'm just so happy to get my feet wet in this organization.
Beautiful.
Awesome, man. Hey, so we kind of hit on it a little bit, but you're going to be at Penn State. You're wrestling a Penn State dude. Crowd's probably going to be against you. Does that excite you? Does that get you jacked up?
Yeah, it's just like Olympic trials, man. The Olympic trials, I had Srirachi first rounds, my first match in years, and I cut down to 86 kilos, and I was dead. And I'm whooping them 4-0, 6-0, and 2 minutes left. You could hear a pin drop in Bryce Jordan Center. I mean, the crowd was fucking silent. Like, and then he got in. He finished one. Then he got a push out. They felt the momentum. Then you see my demeanor, my posture. I'm calling injury time.
That crowd, the wall's getting small.
I'm literally, I watched it back on YouTube or something, and I'm geeking at myself because live, I'm laughing because I know, like, the walls are caving in and they're roaring. They're roaring. They're booing. He's tired. Like, so you can't really, man, you can't get that feeling anywhere. Like, you know, that's the most alive as you're going to feel. You know, I've been through the ringer of life, and there ain't nothing better than being the man in the arena, especially the one that we're about to be in.
Absolutely, man. It's a great stage to be on, man. I'm glad you're a part of it. Like you said, you wanted to be a part of the first one. That was historical. I was in the building on the 1s and 2s as the Minister of Combat, and it was everything that us young wrestlers used to dream of. It was everything that, you know, it had that UFC feel. Every fight that I've been a part of, it had that same feel. And I was just glad to be in the seat that I was in and being able to call the action of what I knew and love and the things that I know. I was being booed, and I had that kind of real entertainment style before it was actually needed, because they got it out of they got it out of the Olympics, being the very first sport that was ever created, the Olympics, right? So we realized as a community that maybe that Bubba Jenkins shoot them down kind of style maybe bring some people, and then Mayweather started walking around like this. Now everybody wants to do that kind of, I guess, negative thing. But in my day, I wasn't ever raining on the guy that I just beat. I was just celebrating my victory, celebrating who I was. And sometimes if it got to that, if it was me versus him and some trash talking and some leading up to it, the internet wasn't as big in my time, but it's bigger now, to where you might run across a Carter's Startucci's text message or his tweet, you might come across a Carter event where you're like, okay, now you're talking trash, I might have to see y'all next week, or it's different. But what say you to being on the same card as some of these Penn State guys, having a bigger social media, the back and forth that you have with Carter, possible matchup with Carter? Where you at with that? Where you at with this experience that may come to fruition?
I mean, I'm the same person in real life who I am on the internet, you know what I mean? And to the victor goes the spoils. That's why RAF's so cool, having guys like you in it. I mean, if you ain't one shooting the fingers, don't get sat the corner on and cradled up. Don't get packed up and fought. If you don't want Darion flipping on Metcalf, don't let him lefty headlock you and pack. Don't, you know what I mean? If you don't want Gable Steveson back flipping on, you know what I mean? Wyatt Hendrickson, he didn't let him.
Yeah, you gotta hit him with the Mr. America.
Nobody minded that, did they? Nobody. Oh, America, hell yeah. So that's two sides of the coin too. When Penn State's winning and they're doing their thing, everybody loves it. But when you come in doing it, now you're the bad man. So I'll be the bad guy. You know what I mean?
I'll be your Huckleberry.
I'm him. Let's go. Let's run it. And shout out to all you guys, like even like Varner, man, like dusting off, bringing the shoes back out. Who I didn't expect this at all. Like, this is literally a name that I, earlier said I grew up watching, and then was kind of around him in the same era. He was coming out, and then I'm coming up in. And I mean, you guys are the ones that paved the way. So RAF, really cool. Shout out to them. But it doesn't bother me being on the same card as these guys. I'll talk shit right to Staracci's face. You know what I mean? It don't mean nothing to me. Like I said what I said. I stand on it. Like I believe it. You're a weirdo. You're goofy. Like you're weird. So it is what it is. Like if I was doing this weird shit, I'd have to hide too. Like these Penn State guys, and then they come out of the closet with a Bible verse. Nah, I don't sin in private and then pretend in public. You know what I mean? I'm gonna smoke my blunt. I'll drink a beer. I'll gamble. There's a time and a place. But I don't have to hide all that shit because I truly am a good man. Now, if I was doing this shit that Carter and Stop and Kyle Snyder and Aaron was doing, I feel like I'd have to hide it. And that's what happens. Back to your point, everything's on the internet, man. And I've always been such an honest, straight shooter that like these USA wrestlers, they judge me because I never fit into the party because I'm not fake enough. But now the shit that comes out, they want to sweep it under the rug because it's their poster boys. But woo. That's some shit you gotta hide, man. Because
different atmosphere, man. I got booted out of town for less. Just want to say that
I got kicked off for tweeting, bro. I said women wrestling aren't getting paid as much as the men. It's revenue generation because of the same women talking shit on Flow. When I was the co-main with David, Dake and Shimizu was the main. I wasn't counting Dake's pockets. Why am I not getting 50? Why am I not getting? I'm not counting David's pockets. Why am I not getting 25? But all these bitches are counting my pockets, talking about why is he getting 15 bands? I want 15 bands too. Like, no, you don't draw. You're not 15. You get on the card for 5 bands and promote yourself, and then don't complain that you're not on the card and there's no women represented. The same women that wasn't represented was the same women declining to represent women. You ain't want to wrestle. You ain't want to wrestle. So what the fuck, man? I got kicked off for that. So I called a spade and got put out. And it's all good, though. And I'm supposed to sit back and eat that sting? Not happening.
Love it, Pat Downey. We love this, Pat Downey. You sound focused. You sound locked in. You sound like you got a couple of things on your chest that you might get off. It might be a
bro.
5-point
I'm
throw.
not done turning up yet, Bubba. I'm not done turning up yet, bro. I just turned 33, and I feel the best I've ever felt.
I feel it. All right, well, let's get into these picks then. If we're gonna get you right for RAF2 in State College, October 25th, we got some amazing picks. And I get Charlie C to bring them out. What we got here?
All right, let's start with.
Well, I'll make it easy. I'm rocking with every American. I ain't picking any harder.
It is real American freestyle.
Hey, let's start.
I'm a real.
We brought them to Pennsylvania.
All right, let's start with the influencer match. Keelan Jimison, also known as Muggsy Boljunk versus Caden Henschel.
Yeah, man, I was supposed to wrestle on the main event when they wrestled for Beat the Streets, and I got injured, and I ended up cornering and meeting both of them. They're cool guys. I think the gap's just a little too big for Muggsy to jump, though. Caden's properly trained. You know, I believe he's like one of the D2 or D3 schools, national champ. And nothing against Muggsy, man. He's awesome. I like his vibe. Dude's got great energy, and I respect him for what he's come from, you know, really tough kid. But I just think technically the gap is too much for him to close in that short amount of time from the last ass whipping I saw Caden give him. That was tough.
What do you say about their position in the sport of wrestling and what they've done for not only for wrestling, but for themselves? Because there are men on this card and there are men out there with shiny accolades that bank account don't match these bank accounts.
Facts.
You know, this you know what I mean? How do you feel about what they do for themselves in the sport?
Dude, yeah, I've taken pages out of both their books. The way they monetize their brands and the way they promote themselves, inadvertently promoting wrestling. I mean, what can you negatively speak on people that are, you know, drawing attention to the sport? And
you notice that's what they do. They speak on us a lot.
Yeah,
us, meaning those who kind of. I had shirts when I was in college. I was trying to do the Bubba J Classics with my cups of Hennessy and doing my own videos and stuff. We got hated for those type of things back then, and still to this day, Muggsy is hated for that type of stuff. Caden has his own shoe, and he's hated for the position
but not from real
has.
ones, man. Not from real ones, because show me a hater really doing better than you. Show me one. Cornballs hate. You know what I mean? You got hate in your heart. You're goofy. Like I don't even. You know, I can't imagine hating on another man. Even when I lose to him, I want him to win still. Like it's just weird. Like I don't have that gene in me. So I think that just comes from like being a winner. Like, you know. I know from my bounce backs, from my setbacks, I know like people have shown their true colors and they wait for you to fail at your lows. And, you know, I just don't got that in me. Like, I love what they do for the sport. You know what I mean? I'm happy RAF has them guys on, even if they have not the same accolades of everybody else. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It's about like what they're doing for the sport. It's bigger than just a wrestling match, you know?
For sure. I think Muggsy actually has like a course that you could take and he could train you how to do social media the way he does it. And like, if you want what he's got, he'll help you go get it. Like,
yeah, he's not gatekeeping. Yeah. He's made a full living off of that. He gets his services rendered and then he puts people on and then you see them rinse, repeat.
Yeah,
do the same shit. I've seen it with Jake Harman. He told me to get hit with most.
Time out. JJ Holland, me and JJ Holland grew up being middle school, elementary school, high school rivals.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, no, actually, I got a picture right here. Shout out my boy Jake Holland. I got a picture of me wrestling with Jake Holland in high school right here. And I ain't gonna rain on his parade. We was rivals, but you know, I was nationally ranked. You know, I went to Penn State. You know, what I'm talking about. So, but no, man, that is great to see, and man, I appreciate really what they're doing for the sport of wrestling. I appreciate that. You know, we didn't get him on the first opportunity for the first RAF 1. But RAF2, I'm glad to see that there are other wrestlers out there. There will be other Muggsies and other Cadens that don't necessarily reach that plateau of national championship status that I reached or reach the levels that you reach, that still have a love for the sport, that still have an entertainment style of living, and people want to see that. As much as people love the results, people want to see how the cake is baked. People want to see how it's made and things like that. So you got to love what they're doing. You got to appreciate that.
And wrestling needs to learn and take a note, as opposed to hating. Take a page out of the old book. They're not doing anything that crazy. They're just showing a little personality, being true and authentic. They're genuine humans. They're not throwing some weird internet vibe up that they got to maintain and be fake outside of that. You know what I mean? Just show yourself, and the rest will take care of itself, I believe. Like a lot of people could really like use their recipe, you know. And I try to, but I'm not as fancy with the edits and all that, you know what I mean? I'm more
I need a team.
I keep it all, give me one of them editors though, and I'll be right back up there with them.
For sure. What you got, Charlie C? Who's next?
Next matchup, NATO versus RBY.
Okay.
Good one. Man, I'm gonna go RBY with this one. Back in his home state, Penn State, and he looked good at the World Championships, and he's been on the senior circuit. And I think I got RBY in this one.
You didn't like the way NATO looked in that last match? Hey, listen, NATO looked strong. I'm split down the middle. We haven't given our picks yet. I'm split down the middle, but
he looked great.
NATO looked good. He got the world title around his waist, so he ain't gonna be trying to give that belt up too easily.
Matchups make matches, though, man. Matchups make matches, man. I think RBY a little too slick, a little too quick, a little too side to side, man. He gets on that corner on that front head so fast, gets to that angle, man. He don't play around, and he doesn't run hip. So when he hits front headlocks, he's scoring most of the time. And NATO shoots a lot. I don't know. I just think stylistically that matchup. You know, it's chess match, man. NATO got a path to victory, though. NATO does. He's great. I'm not.
NATO a champ.
Yeah, he's a champ.
4-time Big Ten national champ. 4-time Big Ten champion.
Yeah, monster. Yeah.
All right, Charlie C.
Next one, Starachi Jackson. Carter Starachi.
You know I'm rocking with my guy Action Jackson, bro.
Jackson, baby.
Nate used to beating Penn State, man. He debunked Bo a couple times in college.
Yeah.
And, he's used to beating Penn State, bro. I got Nate all the way for real. I think he's bigger, man, too, like frame wise. And Nate was the key part of my success. Without Nate at Princeton Rutgers at the NJRTC, I don't think I make a world team. We pushed the hell out of each other. You know, like some of my best rounds was in simulations, man, with Reese reffing. So
shout out to Reese, shout out to Nate Jackson, man. I'm excited about this. You think
NJRTC, man?
You think Reese going to be in the corner for this? We should be a part of this wrestling as well. You think he's going to be in the corner?
He should be there. I'm not sure, man. I haven't spoke to him. I'm down in South Florida. He's up in Jersey still, and I'm not sure of the dynamics. I don't know who's Nate has cornering him, but if he's there, you know, I'm gonna connect with him. That's my guy. I'll actually probably text him now that you brought it up.
All right. Who you got, Charlie C?
All right. Most of the rest of them are Americans versus foreigners. And Pat just gave us some thoughts, but I'd like to hear his thoughts about these exact matchups. So we got David Carr versus Amarita of Egypt.
Yeah. I mean, I know who David is, and he's gonna smash him, I think. I thought Egyptians wrestled Greco. I don't know. We'll see.
That comment alone is what we were looking for. That short clip.
Yeah.
I thought Egyptians wrestled Greco.
He made the Egyptian Olympic team for 2020.
Freestyle?
I assume so. It doesn't say. So
I'm telling you, a 2020 Olympian qualifying for the Olympics out of Egypt might be Greco, bro. I don't know. David Carr should not be wrestling him upper body. I do know that.
All right, so
he's gonna look for a highlight up top. You say?
Yeah, I keep the mat. He's good. He's good side to side misdirection. He's got great leg attacks. He needs to stay on the leg offense, and he's got a great pace, man. He's got a great pace. I get tired just watching Carr. He's scrappy as hell.
If I'm reading this right, it says he's ranked 5th in the world.
Rita.
It says.
Oh. Well, that shows you how far out of the wrestling loop I am, man. I was happy as hell when I was 5th in the world. So Buddy's probably on his high horse. He's probably coming in to bust David up. Damn.
It's a stat card. It's an amazing card.
That's crazy.
Even the one we're about to mention next, James Green versus his opponent, he's got the right name for it. I got to get ready. I ain't got the names down yet. I got a couple days while I'm practicing.
Yeah, well, Pat will know this guy. It's Tajmiraz Salkazanov.
Yeah, Tajmiraz Salkazanov
of Slovakia. I believe that's
I think he just bronze medaled.
Yeah, he's beat Carr and he's beaten Dake before. So now he's going against James Green.
4-time world medalist. Bronze in 2025.
Yeah, I'm rocking with my East Coast Nebraska teammate James Green. I'm rocking with Greasy. I'm good. I don't know about his medals and who else he's beaten. I just know James Green is going to beat him
you don't do no math. You don't do no math.
I'm like Vicky Valancourt, Bobby Boucher. You remember Waterboy? She
goes,
yeah. That ain't no prediction. That's what it's going to be.
So this guy's actually Salkazanov is actually he's Russian. He's from
he's a defect. He transferred. He's a bronze medalist. Nah, he's hard. He's cold. It's a hell of a match.
It'd be a fun match.
But if James Pools finds a way, man, you best believe he's still ready to get a medal. So
and James has his own. He's got plenty of medals himself. He's right there with him.
Sure.
All right.
He held that spot down for 7 years or something like that. Crazy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Greasy's a dog.
Yeah. Andrei Yatsenko of Ukraine versus Nico Megaludis.
Nah, Megaludis, my guy. That's my dude. Yeah, he's been a savage since Pitbull, Sonny Abe days. We used to torch us against Colats, bro. I'm talking about since Jits. Yeah, he's been that.
Yeah, look at the shirt.
I got the Colat shirt on.
There you go. Okay.
That's my guy right there.
You know Ball? Okay.
Oh hell yeah, I love Colat. I got him right there too. Boom.
Okay.
Yeah, you see the action.
Sick, man. Yeah, Coach Colat, bro. He kicked me off his team 3 times.
But he kept bringing it back in.
That's what he kept bringing you back.
I was undefeated.
That's all I heard. That's all I heard. He kept bringing you back.
My dad goes, if he ain't gonna let you, if you ain't good enough, he gonna starve. He ain't gonna have no team. But bro, he wanted super soldiers. He was training us like Olympians. I remembered his warm up was like a practice for me. I was like, I can't wrestle after doing that.
I think Marsteller said the same thing.
Nuts.
Like the whole warm up's like a whole practice.
It's nuts. His warm up was insane.
That's funny.
Oh,
who we got?
All right. Helen Maroulis versus Samantha Stewart. Samantha Stewart is Canadian, 2021 world bronze.
Yep. Don't matter. That's the GOAT, Helen.
Yes, it is.
Come on. She was 2 years older. She's 2 years older than me. I'm 2 years older than Snyder, and all of us was at the same club at Mount Airy.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Growing up, Mount Airy Mustangs. Coach Mike DeSarno, yeah. So I've known Helen. She used to whip my ass, man. At like 7 years old, I used to get beat on. I couldn't let anybody know back home in Baltimore. So my dad would drive me an hour and a half each way out to Mount Airy, out in the sticks, just to get my ass beat by this girl. And I'm like, thank God she turned out to be the GOAT. Like,
that's funny.
Man,
that was tough.
That is great.
Next one up, Mason Paris versus Alexander Romanov.
That's my guy up in Maryland, the Moldovan, bro. He's a shout out to
and he a big boy too now. He a big boy. He if it gets ugly,
massive.
It might not go Paris' way now.
Nah, Paris better stay low on them legs, because if it gives upper body, bro, he going for a ride. And Romanov just won the UWW grappling world title. Like, he just won. He got bronze in the gi and then gold in the no gi. So, and then he just fought in the finals of that PFL. So he's super active. And didn't Mason Paris, did he represent? No, he's been on a little break, right? So
he's been out.
He went play for the Chargers or whatnot.
That's what I mean. So I know he's like that, but Romanov's coming off some good smoke right now. He's really
the reason why I got him being like that, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know Romanov as well as you do, but the reason why I got Paris being like that is because he's a big boy and he over there looking at Mr. America over there at Okie State.
Sure.
He might want that Hyatt. He might want that Wyatt matchup. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Right down, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he coming to Penn State to let people know this is what I want.
Right.
Yeah.
I know I said every American, but this is the exception. I'm rocking with Romanov. That's my
All
pick.
right.
I'm taking the Moldovan. Yeah, he's a monster, bro. I'm telling you, I train with him.
Okay.
Okay.
You ain't wrong.
We got 2 matchups to go. Kyle Dake versus Boris Makoev.
Oh, I got Dake. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dake for sure. Just too powerful, too good. I mean,
No.
he's got a little chip on his shoulder after not making that team too. And I'm expecting some Dake bombs.
Yeah. We need some more Dake bombs. I don't think we got any last time.
No, we're gonna get some Dake bombs this match. I got a feeling.
I need some more in my life, man. All right, our last match, Pat Downey versus Jake Varner. What's your call?
Man. Oh, I gotta think about that one.
Yeah.
Come on. No brainer, baby. PD3.
Oh,
PD3 all day.
Hey, you got a score for us?
Yeah, I do. I think it's gonna be 8-4.
8-4.
Okay, he putting
All
up
right.
points.
Yeah, I got 2 4s in me, and he's gonna get some push outs.
All right.
All right, man.
I love it, my man. I appreciate you, Pat Downey. Thank you again for joining us at Matt Mechanics. We in the studio. We're here. We love your energy. Love what you're about to go do. About to go show the world. Is there any lasting statements that you have? Because we're coming to you at Penn State. Lights on. Ain't going to be many cameras elsewhere, but on you, because you that type of show. What
Let's
you
go.
got for us?
Yeah. Well, I'm doing some more promoting. We got the Real American Freestyle crew coming to check me out tomorrow at practice at Kill Cliff. We got Pro Grappling run by Herbert Burns. So I got a lot of good wrestling partners there. So we're getting some more content and media stuff. But I'm actually heading up to New York tomorrow night to promote this even more live on Fox News Saturday morning. So
Okay.
I'm looking forward to getting on TV and keeping this energy. You know, this is what wrestling needs. And I'm quite literally living my dream by doing this. So thanks for having me on. And, it's only me out there, but shout out to my friends and my family and everybody that comes to support me in Baltimore and all my sponsors, Bad Monkey Electric, Valor Energy, my guys at Homo Fight, everybody that plays a part, Heavy Metal Forge and Half Face Blades. If I'm forgetting anybody, sorry, but you know who you are,
Yeah, Pat.
Absolutely. Hair looks good. You look good for TV. You ready, big dog?
Hey, don't we got that fresh mid fade.
I know.
my
I can.
boy.
Feel, I want to slap you through the camera.
Yeah,
I feel
need
it.
I got that ball.
All right, family. We'll see you next time, homie.
Yeah. All right, fellas. Peace.
All right, Bubba. It's that time of the show. It's time to pay some bills.
Absolutely. Let's pay some bills. Shout out to my people over there at Dialed Moods. Y'all see the energy. Y'all feel the energy. Y'all feel the pump. They have been helping your boy get ready for the show. They're friends of the show right now. So we want to give a shout out to them and everybody who's going to be coming a part of the show. It's going to be a great show here with Charlie C and Bubba J at Matt Mechanics. And right now we're just giving some people some love that have been giving the love back to us. Again, shout out to my people at Dialed Moods. I should have cracked one open in front of you guys, but wait till my package comes in. It's going on the show.